Ancient Greymon is how much? Is there a way to play an Emperor Greymon deck without Ancient Greymon? There is. You just have to mix it in with purple. Let's talk about it. What's up, Tamers? Welcome back to The Other Decks. My name's Casual Adobo, and today we're going full on spice. People have been coming out with some crazy combinations, and I'm super excited about BT7 meta and everything that people are trying to do with their decks. I think hybrid does unlock a lot of jankier stuff, which fills my soul with joy. But the downside of that is that people are getting to it first, and I have this weird thing, wrong or right, whatever, but if I see someone do it, I'm sort of hesitant to make that color combination, just because I think most of those creators did a fantastic job. Like, I'm super jealous of Mario for making Tidal Wave in a multicolored deck work. I saw an awesome red-yellow hybrids deck. So if you look over the internet, over YouTube, there's some awesome stuff here. But I wanted to send in my contribution of jank to the masses, and here I have created what I'm affectionately calling Emperor Pepper. So I'm taking the Dr. Pepper color format of red-purple and giving it a bit of an upgrade, hence the title change. It's no longer a doctor, it's an emperor. But the main drive behind why I wanted to make this deck was I wanted to make Emperor Greymon work. And if you saw my 3 meta deck list profile, one of the main problems I saw with just the straight red Emperor Greymon deck was that Takuya needs the hybrids in the trash in order for the warp digivolving ability to kick in. And I thought to myself, what's really good at putting things in the trash? Purple. So that's really why I combined the two. And to be completely honest, I feel like it meshes a lot better than I thought it would. But let me know if you think it does in the comments below as we go through it. And if you're enjoying the content, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. We're going to be doing a lot more of these color combinations, and I'd like to hear from you. What colors do you think should be covered next? Obviously, there's a couple different combinations. Heck, let's even go 3 colors. But I would love to hear from you and love to make a deck that you want to see. But anyway, that's enough for me. Without further ado, let's hop into the deck profile. And here we are at the deck profile. And like with every deck profile, we're going to start off with our Digitama. And as you can see, we're going with a purple core, a purple base for this deck. And it starts off with Demi-Meramon. So this one's a classic, on deletion, draw 1, trash 1. So the main utility I want out of these purple cards that I'm including here is the draw 1, trash 1 ability, or the draw 1, trash mechanics. That way we can control what's in our trash and essentially fill it up with hybrids and then get Takuya online as fast as possible. So Demi-Meramon fits that description perfectly. Next up, we do have 4 copies of Impmon, and this is our first rookie. On deletion, trash top 3. Sure, there's a lot less control, but it does help in filling up the trash a lot sooner. And at 1000 DP, it is ideally going to die. And then lastly, for our rookie level 3 purples, we do have 3 copies of Labramon. This is the on-play, trigger, draw 1, trash 1. So yeah, the purple core of this, pretty standard. Next up, we do have 2 copies of Flamemon from BT6, and this is the one that would give Emperor Greymon piercing. We have 2 copies because in an ideal world, we're able to get it into the trash pretty easily, and it does count as a hybrid for the Takuya effect. Next up on our rookies, we have 2 copies of Nemon. So on play, you can play 1 tamer card with an inherited effect from your hand without paying the memory cost. So in this case, it's going to be our Koichis and our Takuyas. And then on all turns, once per turn, when one of our Digimon with a tamer in its Digivolution sources is deleted, we can play a tamer from trash without paying the memory costs. So this is great to recur some of our tamers, especially if they got lost to trash, say from that Impmon effect. And the beautiful thing about this is that the tamer that got deleted, like from the battlefield, doesn't need to be the tamer that you're recurring. So say I accidentally milled out my Takuya in the trash, and I have, say, a Loamon. Is it Loamon or Jaeger Loamon? The purple hybrid. Say I have a purple hybrid with Koichi out on the field, Koichi underneath. That gets deleted for some reason, lost the security, right? It goes to the field. I can play the Takuya onto the battlefield using this effect. So I think Digimon has some really sneaky, really surprisingly good utility, especially for a strategy that revolves around specific tamers from BT7. I would even argue that Digimon could go well with green hybrids, which I didn't include down my deck list, but thinking about now, JP's, that's another time. That's another time. Moving on to our last rookie, we have 3 copies of Pokemon. This is the reveal top 5, then add a hybrid or 10 warriors, and then 1 tamer from among them to your hand. So this is good because it generically searches for all of our tamers and then all of our hybrids, which for the main strategy of this deck to work, we are looking for Takuya, and we're looking for Emperor Greymon. So that does it for the rookies, and you're probably wondering why I didn't include more of the searching Flamemon that search for red hybrid or red hybrids and tamers, as well as Susanomon and Takuya specifically. And I did have them in the original list, but because I'm not running a primarily red package here, I didn't think it was good enough to fit the bill. I think those searches are too specific and would work better if I was running a red core that had splashed some purple in it, which honestly could also be a very good idea. So if you wanted to see that, I think I have an idea of how that would work. Just let me know in the comments below. But because I'm running the purple core, I just didn't think they were that necessary. Plus, I think with Pokemon and some of our, our Impmon with our Digimon, I think there's enough fail-safes where we can get to what we need to get to pretty easily. That was a long-winded way of saying, don't worry about it. Alright, moving on to our level 4s, we do have 4 copies of Eismon Scatter Mode, on deletion, draw 3, trash 2. This is just a fantastic ability. Like, if you need to find things from your deck and control your trash, if any of your strategies require that, just run 4 copies of Eismon Scatter Mode. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. But yeah, once again, it's that looting effect that allows us to control our trash and therefore put some of our red hybrids that we want under Takuya, but not necessarily out on the field, in there safely in trash. Next up for our level 4s, we do have Loamon or Loemon, not sure how to pronounce it, but this is our purple hybrid that says we can digivolve on a purple tamer for 2. And we have 3 copies of that. Next up, we have 2 copies of Kaiser Leomon. This can digivolve off of a level 4 for 1, off of a purple tamer for 2, and then off of a normal level 3 for 3 memory. Then when digivolving, if there's hybrid or Koichi in the name, or in the Digivolution sources, you get to gain retaliation, which is pretty nice. That retaliation only lasts until your opponent's next turn, so keep that in mind. And then moving on to our level 5s, we do have 3 copies of Rihimon. So if there's a tamer in Digivolution sources, we can reduce the memory cost by 2, so it's a 1 cost to digivolve. Then on deletion, if a card with hybrid in its traits is in this Digivolution sources, we can play a purple tamer from trash without paying the memory cost. So once again, a nice way of keeping our purple tamers on the field and on play. And then rounding out our level 5 spot, we do have 2 copies of Aldemon, and this is the delicate plan on legs. So really we're aiming to trash this as soon as possible, so we're not really using any of its active abilities, but we mainly want it for its inheritable. While this Digimon has hybrid or 10 warriors in its trait, it doesn't activate security effects on option cards that it checks. So obviously synergizes very well with the Emperor Greymon we have, and overall just a solid card. Moving on to our level 6s, we do have 2 copies of Ancient Sphinxmon. So when digivolving, we can delete one of our Digimon with 10 warriors or hybrids in its trait to delete one of our opponent's Digimon with a level that is less than or equal to it. So say we delete our Rihimon using this effect, we can then destroy one of our opponent's level 5 Digimon. So actually, when I was originally doing this, I wanted to do a pretty sweet combo where I included my favorite purple option card of all time, Back for Revenge, where I would have Emperor Greymon out on the field, put some Back for Revenge on it, and then digivolve into Ancient Sphinxmon, so that I would delete it. I can delete one of my opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon, and then Emperor Greymon would come back onto the field. But no, Ancient Sphinxmon is pretty cool because it can lead to some pretty good deletion abilities, and then when it is deleted itself, you can play 1 purple level 4 or lower Digimon with hybrid in its trait from your hand without paying the memory cost. which is cool. And then for other level 6, we have 3 copies of Emperor Greymon. So when digivolving, it has Blitz. So even if the memory goes past 0, you can still attack for a turn. Then on our turn, once per turn, when this Digimon is blocked, unsuspended, and gain a memory for each Digivolution card that has hybrid in its traits. So essentially, because we're only using this with our Takuya, and we're using it with the Takuya effect, there's a guaranteed 5 hybrids that if we're ever blocked, we get 5 memory back. So most likely, this thing's not getting blocked. But yeah, 3 copies of Emperor Greymon. And then, rounding out our Digimon, we do have 2 copies of Susanomon. So we can digivolve this on top of a Tamer by returning 10 Tamers and or cards with hybrids in their trait from our hand or trash to the bottom of the deck in any order. So because we are doing a lot of milling, I suspect that we'll be able to hit that 10 Tamer requirement a little bit faster than most other decks, which is pretty cool. And Susanomon itself is just a very powerful Digimon. Security attack +2, and then when digivolving, delete any of your opponent's Digimon, which is pretty sweet. And then if you were to digivolve that on top of Takuya, you have another security attack. If you were to digivolve it off of Koichi, it has an on-deletion ability to gain 1 memory. So comparatively speaking, you might want to put on Takuya. But yeah, 2 copies of Susanomon. Moving to our options, we do have 2 copies of Schwarz Laersatz. Pronunciation of some of these option cards has been rough. It's the purple Schwarzwalmer. I can't even pronounce that one. Alright, so this card, you've seen it a lot. You've probably seen it in yellow, purple hybrid decks. But for each Digimon with hybrid in its trait, and each Tamer you have in play, delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. So it's a fantastic board wipe for only 6, which means if you have a memory Tamer and that's the first thing you play, you only give your opponent 3 memory to potentially wipe their entire board, depending on how it looks. Overall, just a very solid option card. Then rounding out our options, we do play 1 copy of Evolution Ancient. So if we have a Digimon with hybrid in its trait, we can use this option card without meeting the color requirement, and then one of our level 4 Digimon can digivolve into a Digimon with matching colors and 10 warriors in its trait for Digivolution cost, ignoring its level. So essentially, we can do like a pseudo warp Digivolution into our Ancient Sphinxmon, which kind of makes that Emperor Greymon auto delete play a little bit easier. And because I'm not running the Back for Revenge, you really only would want to do this if you have another Emperor Greymon in hand and another Takuya. Which if you have Nemon, you can recur the Takuya back onto the field, and then essentially all the hybrids that you had underneath of the first Takuya, you can just put them right back underneath of it, because that's a new Takuya in terms of gameplay mechanics. The only thing is you might not be able to attack doing this particular play. So you can't get 2 Emperor Greymon swings out of this, but still is very nifty and has a lot of utility. And then finally, moving on to our Tamers, we do have 2 copies of Matt Ishida. So this is our memory Tamer, and then we can return a purple Digimon card or purple option card from trash, put it into our hand. I would say for this, we're either targeting a Labramon, because ideally this is going to be towards the middle to late part of the game. So either a Labramon or a Schwarzlar, that card, the option card that we like, or one of our hybrids, just because we might be looking for that final Digivolution swing combo. Then we have 4 copies of Koichi. So security, all of the Tamers have the same security effect, but on play, trigger draw 1, trash 1. So once again, this is like the Tamer version of Labramon, which is really good for controlling the trash, and it's also a inheritable Tamer. I'll find a nickname for that. So we can play this with Nemon, inheritable, on deletion, gain 1 memory. Not the greatest, but for what we needed to do, this is a pretty good Tamer. And then the main Tamer that we're looking for is 4 copies of Takuya. So main ability, we can place the 5 cards with hybrid in its traits from the trash under this Tamer in order to digivolve into an Emperor Greymon for the Digivolution cost. Note that this does not specify what color of hybrid you need. So for anyone interested, you can run a Rainbow Takuya deck. I don't know how that would work, but that sounds awesome. Maybe we'll do it. I might just be crazy enough to do so. But the inheritable is also very good. This Digimon gains plus 2000 DP. Then when it has 10,000 DP or more, it gains security attack plus 1. So traditionally, you would use this with Altamon, and because of that, I am thinking maybe I should put in some of the some Agunimon so I can maybe get that Altamon swing in. But for right now, I'm kind of liking where the deck is right now. we'll see after we playtest. But what that means for our Emperor Greymon is that it gains an additional security tech, and it's swinging for 14,000 DP, which is pretty awesome. And then last but not least, we have 2 copies of Analog Youth. So on play, reveal top 3, and then add 1 Digimon card from among them, then trash the rest. Then on all turns, when one of our level 5 or higher Digimon gets deleted, we can suspend it, we'll gain a memory, then we get to hatch 1 Digi-Egg in an empty space. I'm not sure how prevalent that hatching a Digi-Egg into an empty space will be, given that we're only running about 6 or 7 purple rookies, so the space might not be available, but getting that 1 memory is pretty awesome. Especially when we have effects that potentially delete level 5 or higher Digimon. Thank you, Ancient Sphinxmon. Plus the ability to grab a Digimon card from, top 3 and then trash the rest kind of fuels the rest of our strategy. But yeah, there it is. That is the deck profile for Red Purple Emperor Pepper. I'm honestly surprised that it kind of, on paper at least, works out a lot better than some of the other concepts that I've done. I was really struggling with Musket Wave. But I think this is fun, and I think it's something that not a whole lot of people are going to expect. I think seeing an Emperor Greymon relatively quickly is pretty interesting. And overall, I think it'd just be fun to, play and then have other people watch, and we just all have good laughs. But anyway, let me know what you think about this deck down below. Would love to hear from you. I'm pretty active in the comments section, and I try and respond to everyone who comments down below. And while you're down there, if you enjoyed the video, please give this a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. But with that out of the way, I think that'll be it for me. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And Tamers, remember, build what you like, play what you love, and I'll catch you in the next video. Have a good one.